So sound is so important, and it can be argued for videos like this. Bizarrely, sound is more important than the video quality, and working in TV as a one-man band, there are many different options I need. Lav mics, handheld mics, shotgun mics, and the list goes on. Any way you can capture good sound can make or break the job, but the technology is seemingly getting better and better all of the time. More and more companies are introducing their version of the clip mic, but it can also be used with a lavalier, and lavs are used all of the time for traditional TV, and I've had a few versions of the clip mic. I've got the Rode Wireless Go, the Rode Wireless Go 2, but in 2024 I bought the DJI Mic 2 set, and in this video I'll give you my thoughts on this, and spoiler, I'm a big fan, but I'll also explore the use cases and even some of the instances where I've used it for TV, and let's just say it's very versatile and offers more than just wireless audio. Earlier in 2024, I bought the Pocket 3, and if you've watched any of the videos on my channel, you'll know my thoughts on it. And I had the idea of making short features here on YouTube, but with the smallest and easiest setup possible. So after seeing how easy the Pocket 3 and the Mic 2 work together, well, it was a no-brainer, and they're both made by the same company, after all. And that was the main motivation to get these, but if they're good enough, I can use them for TV stuff, YouTube, and general faffing around, and it means I have plenty of options. And because of the internal recording, and that being 32-bit float, and I'll get onto that a little bit later, it seemed like the perfect setup. Tiny camera, tiny microphones, with seemingly broadcast quality. Now, I've worked in the media for just over 20 years, and I've been a freelance camera operator for 5 now, and my biggest client has been the BBC, and the majority of work I do for them, I use these, and these are the Sony UHF mics, and they do a great job for interviews, pieces to camera. They work an absolute dream. But technology moves on very quickly, and I remember when Rode announced their Wireless Go mics in 2019, I decided to pick some up. They were relatively cheap, well, $200 was cheap for wireless mics at the time, and especially in the early days of freelancing, you need to make the money go as far as you can. And my first shoot as a freelancer was with Bayern Munich and Germany winger Serge Gnabry in 2020 for BBC Sport, and they did the job, and you'd never know what mics I was using. But at the end of the year, I earned enough money to get myself a Sony FX6 and the aforementioned Sony UHF mics. But fast forward to 2024, and these microphones come with internal recording. Previously, you'd either have to have a wireless mic or a mini recorder, but the advantages mean we can be greedy and include both. But there are many more coming to the market. I already have the Wireless Go 2 mics, so why do I need the DJI versions? Well, I don't, but there are a number of advantages to the Mic 2. As previously mentioned, the integration with the Pocket 3 is a major plus. You just sync them up and they just work. It's such a simple system. But even if you don't use them with the Pocket, they can work with any camera with the receiver, and you have full controls over these microphones using the touchscreen. And this type of microphone setup is big business. All these companies are chasing after your custom, but it was the Pocket 3 compatibility that won out for me. Now, we all have different use cases for kit, so there isn't a one size that fits all. But how am I going to use the Mic 2? Well, I'm going to see how it works for some TV jobs as well as YouTube. I'm not the biggest fan of using the internal mic in the transmitter, because in TV we always use lavs, but I will use both as examples. So I film a lot of interviews and features, I make commercial content, and there are also times when you need good audio for random content too. So nothing fancy, but everything is all within the capabilities of this microphone. Or is it? So this is how the Mic 2 comes in its bag, and in the bag we have 2 mic dead cats and a 3.5mm jack cable. Inside we have the charger case, and inside there we have 2 microphones, the receiver for cameras or phones, and there are extra adapters for USB-C and Lightning. So again, for comparison, these are the difference between the Mic 2, the Rode Wireless 2, and the Sony microphones. Of course, the Sony doesn't have internal recording, and it uses the ultra high frequency band, or UHF as it's known, and this is more stable in broadcast environments, whereas the Rode and the DJI use the 2.4 GHz connection. 9 times out of 10 it will work just fine, and in busy wireless areas it may struggle. But the DJI is the smallest out of the 3, and it's fair to say it packs a mighty punch. Hi, Future Me here. I just wanted to give you an idea of the quality that this microphone can produce. Well, in this office environment anyway. I capture these videos on the Rode NTG5, that's just down there, and then that goes into the Rodecaster 2, which is over there. And when I switch to the Mic 2, what does that sound like? Does it sound much different? I do have some soundproofing in this room, so that may change the overall kind of shape of the sound somewhat. But when I switch back to the shotgun mic, what does that sound like? Can you tell the difference? Let me know in the comments below if you can tell the difference between the two. And now back to me in the past. So after getting the Pocket and the Mic 2, I wanted to test out the full system and make a feature with them. On this channel, you can see the finished feature using these. It was at Box to Box Coffee Shop in Manchester. The feature was shot on the Pocket 3 with the wide on the Insta360 X4, the audio recorded directly wirelessly into the camera, with the Mic 2s capturing the audio with lav mics. And as you can hear, the sound is very clear.
You know, we keep saying it's bigger and it's better, and it is bigger and it's better, so we can't really complain about like people coming in and having to wait 30 minutes for a coffee, because people want to see the new box to box.
And for this feature, there was no need for 32-bit float, as the location's audio was controlled. And even if I say so myself, the combination of these two really passes the test. So, on to test number 2, and double Olympic bronze medalist Bianca Cook wanted a promo shot, as she was a part of the BBC's coverage for the Paris Olympics. So we made an arty promo using the Pocket 3, and then graded it later using Dehancer Pro to give it that overexposed film look. And again, the audio was captured on the Mic 2 with a lav mic and recorded directly into the Pocket 3.
Hi everyone, I'm happy to announce that I will still be heading to Paris for the 2024 Olympic Games this summer. I'll be going with the BBC to cover all things Taekwondo from the 7th and 10th of August, so make sure you tune in and make sure you don't miss a kick. 1, 2, 1, 2. This thing on.
And it's safe to say the combination of these two devices yet again passes the test. But next up was a simple piece to camera for the BBC, this time combining the Mic 2 with the Sony a7S III and using the receiver in the combo kit.
Jonathan Broome Edwards is 36 years old. He is the reigning world champion, the reigning Paralympic champion, and because of his age, people are saying, well, maybe you should start, think about calling it a day. No chance.
And again, it was job done. I also tested it out with the noise reduction turned on for another piece to camera, but as you can hear with this, the noise reduction is quite powerful and it gives it that underwater quality.
GB women's basketball team have never won a medal at the Paralympic Games, but they do have European Championship silver, and there's a real feeling here in camp that this group of athletes could be on the brink of doing something special in Paris.
I think it's fair to say the noise reduction isn't perfect, but it might get you out of a jam now and then. And again, for a BBC feature, the Mic 2 combo with the a7S III worked really well.
And this is your second year running the events. How's that been for you?
Really good, really overwhelmed with the positivity, to be fair. Last year was a bit of a gamble. I didn't realise how big the gamble was until about halfway through, and I was like, oh, that was a big investment.
So as you can see and hear, it works well when needed in broadcast situations, and these small microphones can get you out of a jam or two on certain occasions as well, as it's the internal recording which has turned out to be a total game changer. I was shooting another BBC feature in Wales, and we visited a distillery in the Welsh Hills, which was quite the location. So with the same combination of the Mic 2 and a7S III, I got to work. While recording, I noticed the settings on the Mic 2 receiver were a little hot due to using different settings on another shoot.
And we are distilling today. So out of here is rum. We've got rum coming out of here.
We've got rum coming out of here. And if you just put your finger under their liquid and rub it on the back of your hand and have a nice smell.
Wow.
So as you can hear, the audio is clipping. This audio is recorded in the camera, but the onboard recording in the Mic 2 saved the day, as you can hear in the same clip.
And we are distilling today. So out of here is rum.
We've got rum coming out of here.
We've got rum coming out of here. And if you just put your finger under their liquid and rub it on the back of your hand and have a nice smell.
Wow.
So perfect audio via the internal Mic 2 recording. And this is because of the 32-bit float. 32-bit float has been introduced fairly recently in technology like this, and it's a total game changer. And in the next example, we'll have a look why. Last month, I went to a Premier League game at Goodison Park. My team, Everton, were playing Fulham, so I met up with my mate Mike and off to the match we went. I took both Mic 2 transmitters and took some video with the Pocket 3, but I attached the Insta360 Go 3S, initially to my body and later to my cap, to get some POV footage. First, Mike and I tested the audio during the build-up to the game, with the stadium announcer doing his best to ruin the audio.
Mike is going to take the first bite of the pie. Apparently it's hotter than the sun. How's this going to go? How hot's that? Woo! He's making sure he's getting the pie in. There we go, there's another bite. That is hot.
As you can imagine, it's loud. And of course, in this situation, you're not going to get really clean audio, as the polar pattern of this microphone isn't made for this type of situation, but at least you get a sample of the audio battle going on. In what was a very dull game, it was goalless at half-time. At this point, the match was going absolutely nowhere. My goal-celebrating microphone test, well, it was going out of the window. That was until... But the audio wasn't clean on first viewing. When I opened it up in Adobe Audition, you can see that it's over-modded. And in normal circumstances, similar to the BBC feature in Wales before, the audio would be unusable. But with the 32-bit float, we can just lower the audio levels and recover all of that previously lost audio data.
Go! Yes! Get it! Come on! Come on! Yes! Get in!
Because previously anything over 0 decibels would have been lost, but in the case of 32-bit float, we can secure all that lost data. And you can easily use an audio program or something like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut to adjust the audio. So this, and I mean, look at the size of it, has lots of plus points. And the fact that it has the ability to transmit audio and record it internally and in 32-bit float, well, it makes you wonder what lies ahead for audio technology like this. So going back to the very beginning, I can honestly say the Mic 2 has come in very handy. And because I have a number of similar mics to this, it's not a life changer, but as a package, it's come in very handy indeed. There is still a way to go for products like this. To have timecode would help with syncing in post. Recording internally is never ideal without timecode. And syncing the footage up from Goodison Park for this video took some time, as the internal recording was creating new files every 23 minutes or so. But as you noticed with the 32-bit float examples, we can rescue the audio, so I guess 32-bit float is a feature I never knew I needed. But overall, if I'm not using my Sony microphones for my broadcast work, I'd be more than happy to give these further chances to impress. The technology is there to be embraced, and I would like the broadcast UHF microphones to get 32-bit float internal recording going forwards. But for one-man bands like myself, it's quite a wonderful feature. But should you get the DJI Mic 2? Well, I'll leave that decision to you, but for its integration with the Pocket 3, its handy internal recording, and if you have use cases for it, I would definitely recommend this microphone to you.